Spouses and partners of Reddit, what red flags are you glad you ignored? How she'd worry over the smallest things. Anything that went wrong. Dentist, food going off, traffic, not having enough time to wash her hair would send her into a panic and put her in a foul mood that could last for hours. I'm the exact opposite. Completely laid back. If the dentist doesn't have good news, I'll accept it and not worry. If food goes off, I'll pop down to the shops and grab some more. And if we are late because of traffic, that's just how it goes. I thought her moods would be the thing to end us, to slowly wear down my patience to a point where I'd stop trying to comfort, reassure and calm her down. I was wrong. Reader, I've never been happier. And we are good for each other. I can calm her down, and she can make me care about things I didn't used to think were a big deal but ultimately are. We work so well together. First date. He had a man cheat on his truck seat and 2 ropes on the floor. I'm sorry, I've been to the ranch, and I was cutting weeds. Little did I know, there were also 2 shovels under the back seat. He is a biologist and he will hunt down plants. My spouse's very weird and unusual sense of humor. I was afraid he was mentally unstable. He would draw weird cartoons, mimic people's voices and mannerisms, creepily accurate, and tell the craziest stories. Turns out he's just fucking hilarious, and he usually keeps me belly laughing once a week. When I met him, my husband had just closed his comic book store. I had a few people who didn't know him at all tell me that he was a loser because he had a comic book store and that type never does well in life. I knew his store closed for reasons out of his control. Business partner for cancer, sold the store to pay for treatment, and that he was seriously depressed about it. No one else seemed to see the man I did, and I felt like I was stealing him. Legit the most generous, kindest, funniest, smart-ass dude I've ever met. I'm glad I ignored them, because I doubt I could find a better partner in life. There's been a lot of shit thrown at us, but we have navigated it together. I love him, and despite how much the rest of my life sucks, my marriage is resilient and healthy. When I met my wife and we became more and more intimate, she opened up to me and told me she didn't want to have secrets from me. She then proceeded to tell me the story how she had spent some time in a psychiatric clinic recently and what she had been through. I was a little bit scared first, but she managed to convince me that she had made a full recovery. She told me she went full jackpot with me and risked me getting up and leaving her, but she didn't want to build our relationship on a lie. We have been married for 15 years now, and she's the love of my life. I ignored all the huge red flags about his family. They were loud, overbearing, oversensitive, negative, and narcissistic. My husband's none of those things. I literally told him, after meeting them, that I never knew families like his really existed. Thought it was some exaggeration or dramatic trope. Fortunately, nearly 15 years later, my in-laws are all cut off or dead and we have zero family drama. I mistook my husband's relaxed attitude with not caring. Nope. He really is that easygoing. Now I love his even temperament. Sometimes is annoying, but is mostly calming. He had a side gig as a puppeteer and used to use the plastic eyes from secondhand stuffed animals for the puppets. So when I met him, I found a bag of eyeless stuffed animals. I made him show me the puppets for proof before getting over it. He's the best though, and we've been married for over a decade with a family. The serial killer room. I went home with him for the first time to a completely blank room. No personal possessions, white bedspread and pillows. The windows had bars on them. I gave him a cool picture for his walls. Didn't get murdered, and been living together 2 years now. He's just tidy. I had been dating this woman for a couple of months, and at some point I decided to cook for her. It was the first time she came to my place. At the time I had been divorced for a while, was in my 30s, making good money, and living by myself. It was 1999. We had a nice dinner and conversation and wine and all in all a nice evening, and she ended up spending the night. The next morning at the breakfast table she asked, "So, what happened in 96? I'm like, what? What do you mean? And she kept insisting that she wanted to know what happened in 96. I had no clue what she was talking about, and finally she explained. There were calendars in my living room, bedroom, home office, and kitchen. They were all from 1996. She said she was a bit concerned that this might be the tell of some sort of manic obsessed psychopath or something. I had to laugh. My mom had visited when I first moved in and had hung calendars all over to brighten up until you get some nice pictures on the wall. In time the calendars just became part of the rooms for me and I didn't even see them anymore. Nothing special about 1996. I'm just not really big on replacing calendars. Both of our families were worried the 7-year age gap would be a big hurdle to overcome. I was 20 and she 27. 11 years together and 5 years married. It's never been an issue. And thanks.